Hello, good afternoon. My name is Jamila Gonzalez, and my presentation is on Will Recycling Save Us? What is recycling? Recycling is the process of sorting out the plastics, and after they are sorted, they get washed and shredded and melted and then made into new products. Some problems that come with recycling, the lack of recycling, is it kills many animals from from the ones in land to the ones in the ocean. It also affects the environment because plastic is made in factories where planet warming fuels are used like oil, and that is toxic for the environment. It fills up the landfills, and as you can see here, it damages the species. What are people doing to recycle? As a society, were taught that less is good, and that if we were to reduce the amount of things that we buy, then it would help the planet. We were also taught to reduce things like water consumption and energy. They wanted all of us to buy from thrift stores to reuse the clothes. The main concern was the ecological footprint. So, as you can see here, the ecological footprint was one of the things that most people want you to look out for because that would help with saving the planet. Our mentality about consumption. After doing some research, I learned that there are some things in the world that should be consumed so that it helps the planet. An example that I found is oysters because they stated in the journal that they contain about 1,500 microplastic particles. This would reduce a lot of the particles from the ocean, and the term less is better wouldn't apply here because if we started eating them, then there would be less plastic in the ocean. Changing our eating habits is also something that is talked about a lot, and if you go into a more extreme direction, we can find that if we were to change our eating habits of normal food stuff like algae, mushrooms, and bacteria, then that would help the planet a lot, and things that used to be in food would not go extinct. Those types of foods would be better for the system because, for example, algae has about 90% of protein, not like meat, which only has 20%. So that was something new that I didn't know, was that algae had a lot of protein in it, and that could be a substitute instead of meat, so we wouldn't have to be killing all the animals. How recycling makes people consume more. Most of the time, people recycle because they don't want to be shamed or feel bad. But what they don't realize is that they tend to later consume more of the product. An example An example is that in the journal Recycling Gone Bad, it states that if you wash your hands in a public bathroom, you will waste more paper towels when there's a trash can than when there isn't one. This is because when there's a trash can, you see that that the paper towels are going to go in there, so you don't have the guilt of throwing it away. This is making more things end up in the landfills while people think they are doing the right thing. So, as you can see here, it also states that newer technology also leads to consumption, and guilt is a big factor when people are wanting to recycle because if they don't do it out of their heart, they do it out of guilt because they don't want to get in trouble or something. How much recycling is actually recycled? So these were surprising statistics. I found out that 14% of plastic is reused and 90% of the products that are made with virgin oil. So recent studies show that, like I said before, 14% of plastic is recycled, and it usually only used for cheap things like plastic bags for the stores. Another alerting study is that 90% of products are made of virgin material, and this goes to show that they are using almost all the natural materials that are scarce. With all that plastic made and then disregarded, that is why 300 million tons end up in the landfills every year. And as you can see, 300 million tons is a lot each year, which is getting harder and harder each year that there's not enough places to put all that trash. and it ends up in the oceans. How to make plastic more useful. Many plastics are are not recycled anymore because the companies are not making any money out of it. Like for steel, like how, for example, for steel they are making money. People also don't always recycle because they don't get something out of it. A way to fix this problem would be if they got more support from the government so that they kept running the recycling companies where they can reuse the plastic, and for 14% and for that 14% to get higher. Why do people stop recycling? How to solve it? A way to get rid of all the plastic that ends up in the landfills is to produce high purity, high valued recycled plastic that can compete with other virgin materials. With that, they will be able to reuse a big percent of plastic and make sure the same quality of material. The journal, On the Brink of a Recycling Revolution, explained that it took the steel industry years to come up with a solution on how to have high quality materials with reusable things. As you can see, if the steel companies were able to do it, so can many recycling companies, and it will, and later on more percentages of things will be reused for something better. Innovations on how to recycle effectively. Companies are looking to find more solutions to recycling problems. Because they have a lot of people working at the job site, it is time consuming for them to pick up the plastic and to recycle it. In the journal Construction Waste, a refuse/recycling revolution, it explained that they were having trouble containing the plastic in one place and disposing it properly. Their solution was to get a company to pick up their trash and for them to sort out the material. This is an innovative idea because they are not wasting time separating the things they have, and they stated that the price wasn't much of a difference compared to how it was in a traditional way. So as you can see here, this is a good idea for companies to do, where they have a third party company that comes in and takes the trash and sorts it out and everything, so they don't have to do it. How can materials be reused at a workplaces? The journal Construction Waste, a reuse/recycling revolution, also points out that there are new opportunities to use the material left over from the one job site to another. They explain that even things that were someone used in one site can be used in another site. This would avoid a lot of materials from having to be recycled or thrown in the landfills. This is a good idea for the workplace, but it also comes with some problems because if it's raw materials from construction site, they might have to remove things like nails or have to cut it. But this is a good idea for companies and their supplies. Oh, wait, going back, here you can see that you can find out that we can find new homes for some of the materials. And for example, if they had ordered a package full of some plastic that they were using and they didn't use it all, they can take it to the next place and use it there. Or if they remove things from an old site where they were working at, they can take it to another site and it could be used if they needed. And that would avoid it being thrown into the landfills. And here you can find my resources. Thank you very much for your time.